welcome everybody to the Breachers VRML Season 3, Week 11. My name's Nightfire with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster Gibular Bob to dive into, quite frankly, Bob, the unknown. It is a new dawn of a new meta this afternoon as we do get ready to hop into Apex vs. Aspect. How are you feeling today?
Feeling really excited. Just a quick correction. I think there might be a little error with the title, but this is week 12 of the season. So this is the last week of regulation.
Yeah, I don't know why. I double checked, triple checked, looked at the website, looked at the matchmaking. I wonder if this is maybe a delayed match from week 11 that's being played out in week 12, because everything indicated to me that it was week 11. So I was agreeing with you. I thought we were in week 12 as well, but you can look at like the poster for the game and everything.
Yeah, this was postponed from last week. Okay.
And so I think that if that has to be factored in when we do look at like the ranking and match history and where these teams are sitting right now, because Aspect obviously has played games since they were assigned this match against Apex, and they've been doing well. You know, they're 3-1 right now. Apex obviously 9-3-1, but there's a diversity in votes this afternoon on who is going to come out on top, and you know, there's a little bit of a split, Bob. I think there's like 20 votes to Aspect on them winning today.
Yeah, the vote is more in favor of Apex. 72 votes went to Apex, but Aspect has 19 people voting for them, so we do see some confidence in this Aspect team. Obviously, it's not the same Aspect as we've known from Season 2. Bit of a different roster this time. Ninja Tim faded, Victor Vaughn, Banana Man, Iben, Hamburger, Lynx GTV, and Resi K. So nobody from the original Aspect roster, just name alone and the team history. But it should be an exciting matchup, especially because this is your first cast and this is my first cast on the brand new meta that we have here after the update last week.
Yeah, a big update coming in, including a new map that I don't believe is in the pool for this season, so you don't have to worry about Maul being introduced into the map pool, but we still do have maps like Arctic and Dam in the rotation, so the newer maps are still there, but the newest isn't. And outside of that, Bob, all the changes are in effect. All of the adjustments to guns, to prices, to how effective certain items are, all been tweaked and fine-tuned. You know, that reload time going to be a big one that we kind of touched on before the stream, but I think having a longer reload time is definitely going to throw off the habits of a lot of these players that have become so used to a lot of a faster reload than what is now present in the game.
Absolutely. I was talking to one of my fellow casters, Martini. We did a little podcast discussing the update and the changes. And yeah, I think definitely in terms of reloading, which is, you know, one of the major updates to the meta. But it's definitely made gunfights a lot more deliberate now, so that you have to, when you get a kill, you really have to focus on, you know, making that decision making, whether it's a good time to reload your gun or just keep the current ammo that you have in your weapon and try and use that to get a win. Because with the slower reload times, it's much easier to get caught out alone if you're not being careful.
Had to throw up the ship intro because we're diving in to our first map of the afternoon between Apex and Aspect, as Apex go on the defense and Aspect on the attack for our first round. Quite the, I mean, you want to add on, you know, to the unknown, Bob. We're going to throw ship into the factor here, a map that's been reworked in this season. And I suppose as we're into the 12th week of the season, we're probably pretty familiar with the new layout, but not too familiar with the adjustments to the meta. See how they execute on them as Luna finds a couple of great shots through that gap there, scoops up one. Nice refrag coming in from Lynx, sets things to an even 4-4.
You gotta wonder, maybe we'll see Lynx GTV accidentally push up into some trip mines here, but both teams currently sitting at 4-4. Ivan looks to push in, and Weirdo finds that kill, but Resi will catch a quick refrag. But there's Camellia on the flank, not one but two, and it's now just down to Ninja Tim, and it's a 1 versus 2 between Ninja Tim, Camellia, and Lightronics. But what an aggressive opening here from Apex. I mean, they were not playing on site at all, and I have to wonder, maybe Ninja Tim is going to go and look for another angle, or they may make the mistake of accidentally walking into some trip mines if they are not being careful.
Yeah, you got to keep your eyes peeled for the utility. We can see that laser there on our spectator client, but sometimes it kind of gets lost in the sauce as Ninja does get ready to push up. Should have definitely heard the trip mine there as they nearly ran past it and through it, and instead are going to go around that piece of utility and toss a immolation nade to prevent a rotation so they can get more utility picked up. Try to toss it through that gap to get to the other side, and then continue their rotation. Gonna break down that A side wall, make their way into A with maybe even a plant. Maybe time for plant, Bob.
Yeah, they might get it down. Oh, no, they don't stick it. And this might be the mistake here for Ninja Tim because that Cyclone does not have a whole lot of ammo here. Only one charge done on the EMP Electronics. Catching the headshot to give Apex their first round there. And I think we just didn't see the ideal decision-making from Ninja Tim there. Probably should have stuck that EMP plant. And yeah, you're actually hearing the new charms
We're gonna have to
that
get
have
used to
added
that,
in this update. Yeah, you're definitely going to have to hear the sound effects of the charms.
Yeah, we do apologize for the lack of API. It could be my fault. I might not have grabbed the most recent one, but we don't have a mini map for this afternoon. That'll be all right. We can still enjoy the game in front of us and enjoy the charms that, like we said, are going to be on display this afternoon. A new addition to the game. You know, we love to see the skins, and now charms being added in with little audio cues on them for a couple of them. So it's, yeah, quite something. But we now get into round 2, Bob, and look at the full buy here coming in from the losing Aspect team. Omens across the board.
Yeah, so this is something you're going to get used to seeing here now in this new meta is that SMGs, first of all, the Omen is cheaper. It only costs $1,000 now. And in addition to that, you get more money off of SMG kills. So this is what we're going to see from Aspect. They're going to buy some SMGs, try and get some picks with those, and earn some money to carry them into the next round with some momentum. But that frag was way too far from their own teammate, and it hits Ninja Tim instead. Now, quickly, I want to make note that Blaze is using the Aural, something that seems almost unheard of in the Breachers VRML. But in this update, it's actually been buffed to do a lot more damage. It's been made cheaper, and it's ultimately a very solid choice if you win that initial round.
The finals are going to be crazy. This postseason is going to be a heck of a thing to tune into coming up in January. This is the last week of the regular season. The last week the team has a chance to go up the ladder. Last week, team has a chance to win. As Aspect is trying to get a point on the board. Into a 3v3, but HP bar is not in their favor. Player numbers are, though, 2-2, 2-1. Here comes the flank from Weirdo on the backside.
Weirdo catches one and looks for the second on the Faded, but doesn't quite secure that kill. However, Faded in a little bit of trouble here as Weirdo does recover that Aural. Minute 10 on the clock. Faded continues to tap the EMP, and we're seeing the mind game here. Weirdo has a little bit of firepower advantage, and they definitely have the health advantage. Faded is going to have to look to get some quick headshots with that Omen, and Weirdo's making a lot of noise, but they catch the kill, give Apex their second round, and push them further into the lead. And you're going to start seeing some rifles brought out here by Apex. But the question is, Nightfire, which ones are they going to use? We see some Maruis now. The rifles have had a big change since the last time you and I casted. And so now the Marui is a very solid pick to use depending on the site location you have.
Interesting to see it come in here. The Cadillo showing its face there with Blaze picking up the shotgun, and we'll see how the now round 3 goes on the losing round. I mean, there's so much new with just obviously changing prices of guns, because it completely adjusts what you're capable of buying off of your third round. And I'm sure this is all stuff that's been factored in very thoughtfully by Triangle Factory, Bob. This team at Triangle Factory is super on the ball on their updates. I have enjoyed nearly every single one that's come out from them at a very high level. Like, they are everything is very thought through. And I got to imagine that now, because we're into this third round, it's, you know, again, they just bought full Omens. They're buying full Omens again. They're still able to. That's something you weren't able to do just a week ago.
Yeah, and it's completely, I love the change to the meta. This is something that I've wanted to see for so long, because if you think about it, we had kind of this same buy strategy for almost a full year with very, very little change. So there were some, but look at the full send here from Aspect. They are going to hit this site as hard and fast as they possibly can, but Lynx GTV can't shoot down the static, and the delay has ripped their team apart as Camellia finds 2 immediately with a Vezin, and now Aspect Faded gets caught out. Blaze catching Rezi with the Huracan, and Ninja Tim is trying to recover, pick up some pieces here. They catch Weirdo, but Camellia once again dropping a 3rd kill in that round with the Vezin. Apex are on the warpath here, and there's no sign of them slowing down yet.
Yeah, we have had what you could argue is like partial buys from the Aspect side with those omens. Now we get a full buy opportunity here going into this 4th round for this team. And look what comes out, Bob. Full Maruis across the board. Nobody's messing around with any Vezins. I say that, I stand corrected. Ninja Tim swaps back into one. And I got to imagine that at this stage, the Vezin pick may be more of a comfort choice. You know, I mean, you don't want to necessarily go to a gun that you don't have a ton of experience on, because I got to imagine that these players haven't done a lot of aim training with the Marui until maybe that new update dropped just a week ago.
Yeah, definitely a different recoil pattern all around that you have to adjust to. But the other thing is, and I talked a little bit about this before, is it definitely has, it's definitely a factor depending on the site that you're on, right? So you need, if you have those longer angles, Marie is definitely going to be your pick. But again, Vezin is not out of the meta here. It's strong, but you have to have it in a close to medium range for it to really shine. Otherwise, you might want to pick Marui for medium to long range, and Ivan immediately finding Blaze. See, the Vezin could have caught that kill before, but now that would have been a 2-tap headshot from that range. So you're seeing more use of the Marui because it's really started to find its place in the new meta.
Into round number 4 we go. As we observe the evolving changes of this game, and I mean, man, this is going to be such a new experience when it comes time for the postseason at the beginning of January, when we get the best teams in the VRML battling up against each other with all these new adjustments. It's quite interesting. We have a few weeks to practice and get used to things. These squads battle up against each other, and here comes the push. Weirdo finds 2. A trip line shot over the top. A refag from Faded, and a beautiful swing in from Rezi. It's a 1-2 punch and finally a plant for Aspect as they get one on the board. 3-1. And maybe a bit of a bounce back here, Bob. That was their full buy. I think Apex obviously have plenty of cash left to buy in here to this round as well, but a crucial point, if anything, to put up an offensive round on the board.
Yeah, and shout out to Rezi K there. I don't know if you caught that, but Rezi K just walked inside of fire. They did not care that the ground was on fire and that they were taking damage. They just walked through it to take out the rest of that Apex defense, and that's really a solid play there. It worked. It kept them alive, and it helped them pinch the enemy team when they were just not watching that angle at all because they thought it was secure. So now the door is open for Aspect to do some damage here on their offensive half. Best case scenario right now for Aspect is that 3-3 tie. Apex can still go 5-1. And just a quick shout out to all of the players. In the most recent update, they've added prestiging. So now you can go beyond the original max level. And if you look, everybody here has been putting in a lot of time. We've got some people who are already on the second tier after that first prestige. So these teams have been putting in a lot of hours practicing, training, and getting ready for this final week of the regular season and eventually the postseason.
Especially these teams, Bob. These are squads that are in contention to be in that top 7. You know, especially in the case of Apex, a squad that is comfortably sitting at 4th place. They don't really want to take a loss now, but they could afford it. It wouldn't bump them out of the top 7. And in comparison, Aspect might have an opportunity with a big win here to be close to that top 7 position. So it's a very different level of pressure for, I think, Aspect than Apex this afternoon. Maybe that's being factored in for the results of Apex winning 3-1 right now.
So here's an issue that we're seeing from Apex. They're giving these Aspect players a lot of free 1v1s. Weirda might get the spring on Lynx GTV here, and they do. They find one. Resi picks up quite a bit of damage, trying to recover from that. And although they took out Weirdo, it's still a 2 versus 2. But yeah, Apex has given up a lot of free ones this round. Not exactly what you want to do. And Aspect have been playing this pretty decently. They've been sticking together as a team and trading off of these ones, and ultimately I think they may have a little bit more value. But we do see a frag tossed in the back of Site B, less than a minute on the clock, and here we go again with a complete site switch up. But I think Blaze anticipated this. However, ResiK was there and waiting, catches one, making excellent use of that cloaking device, which did get a slight nerf. It's now a little bit reduced in the transparency department, and ResiK swings out, finds the kill on Lightronics. Aspect, they're bringing it back.
Bouncing back into this series, and I do think, if anything, it's, I don't know, Ship lends a little bit more offense now in some cases, so maybe a bit of a better start for Apex, obviously, than Aspect, and I think even a 3-3 half might be better end of the day for Apex than Aspect. They side swap, they go on the attack. Those 3 defensive points might be enough to kind of get them a comfortable position into being able to put rounds up on their own on offense. But I don't know. It's hard to really know if it's their proficiency on Ship that's impacting play, or if it is what is a drastic change in meta. I mean, Bob, it's guns that we've never seen used. It's combos that haven't been played simply ever in the VRML. You know, you look at those buys, and we haven't seen that many Maruis ever. You know, I can't even remember the name of the shotgun Luna's using. You know, like there's a lot of guns coming out here that are kind of interesting pickups for what is the final round of the half.
And I really love seeing that. There's more depth in the way Breachers is played now, especially on a competitive level. And I think that's really what the game has needed to survive in the long term. We couldn't just keep going on the pistol immediately over to rifle and ignoring 90% of the weapons in the game pattern. Luna might get spotted by the drone here. They do get spotted, and they make use of that Huracan to take out the drone, but ultimately the intel has been given up to Aspect.
Name that shotgun. Good nade toss. Gonna catch big damage on the Blaze, but doesn't find the kill. Blaze able to tuck in, stay alive, looking for a health syringe to get tossed to them so they can heal back up. And it will. It will. Heal back up to full health. Audio transmitter indicating pushes coming into A side. EMP going down in the chaos as Lynx tries to plant. Gets shot in the open on the head over there. Zero tries to swing out. Diving deep in, a team kill comes through. And finally, the final kill, getting locked in by Aspect in a dominant hold, a dominant entry, and one that Apex simply didn't seem prepared for. A very nice play that ties things up 3-3, Bob. We go into a side swap, or Aspect attack and Apex, or excuse me, Aspect defend and Apex attack.
Yeah, and we do see a bot over. Okay, they did get Blaze to reconnect for their team. Don't want to be going into this matchup with less than your full roster, but absolutely, yeah. Very solid comeback there from Aspect, right? I mean, I think a lot of people wrote them off immediately in those first few rounds, but ultimately, it was a very, very good comeback from Aspect. Great use of the new meta and the new weapons. We saw a lot of usage of the Marui, the cloaking device still. I know people get scared when they hear that the cloaking device got nerfed and it's less transparent, but it is still a cloaking device, so it will help conceal your presence. And even though it's not as difficult to spot somebody as it used to be, it is still great at slowing down the reaction time of your opponents. And that's something that Aspect have capitalized on. We'll see if Apex decide to do it. Luna's picked up one, and I'm wondering where the push is. We do see Camellia over by Site B alone, while the rest of the team may look to make an A push, but I'm not quite sure. They're very split up, and that could work against them. or it could help them out. It depends on how things go.
Aspect taking big damage there. Electronics catches faded. A bit of a swing coming in onto Luna and Weirdo here. Look at Lynx and Ninja flying in for a counter push. Catching Weirdo by surprise is now challenging 2 and finds little success in Chaos. The push coming through onto site and EMP goes down while that flank gets caught out, but it's a 2-2 at the end of the day. And ooh, what was that, an immolation nade that did some big damage to Iben as they go down to half HP. A 3v2, excuse me, as Apex tuck in to hold down their EMP plant.
This is a death sentence here for Iben and Rezi K. Now that the EMP has been planted, it's going to be nearly impossible to get control over this corner. Blaze has such a solid angle. Iben's going to look to try and stick the defuse, but Rezi K pinches at the right time, and Camellia able to find the kill onto Rezi there. Electronics was looking to spring the trap up on the hatch, and yeah, once you get the EMP planted in this corner, it's like a death grip. It's very, very difficult unless you have the numbers advantage on the defense to get that point back. But this has been a very, very close game so far. Even if you're looking at the scoreboard here, everybody has a pretty close KD to one another, and I'm excited. I think we could go to 3 maps on this Nightfire.
Hoo-wee. We could indeed. Tie is still a factor in this final week. So that's definitely a thing that's on the table. We could be done in 2, Bob, if Apex have anything to say about it. Like I said, maybe that 3 points on defense was enough for them, because I do think Ship lends a little bit more offensive-sided. So they could be coming in here with a little bit more of a even more confidence, if you will. Like we said, this matchup doesn't necessarily matter for Apex. Sure, the seeding at the end of the day is important. You know, who they're going to, what group they're going to go into when it comes time for that group stage in the postseason. But you know, they're not going to get knocked out of the top 7 with a loss here. At least I don't think they will. So you know, I think the pressure of winning is not necessarily on their shoulders. And you know, on top of that, again, this 3-3 half going into a now 4-3 lead. We'll see what the full SMG buy does for Aspect, if it works, or if Apex can tack another offensive point on.
They're definitely looking for, yeah, I would say the optimal seeding is what Apex is playing for right here. Luna finding the kill on to Lynx GTV as Faded's making their way up on the flank. Is anybody watching that, or is Apex going to suffer the consequences? Rezi finding Weirdos. Luna taking out Ninja Tim, and Blaze finds Rezi as Luna drops a second. Here comes the push. Faded way too late on the roam, and now they are going to suffer for that mistake. This is a common issue when we do see somebody roaming here. It's that roaming is just taking too long, and ultimately you're not pushing fast enough to support the rest of your team. Luna's going to get a little aggressive here, and is going to try and find Faded maybe. Looks like they may wait for that cloaking device to activate before they push down. Faded does have that Viper, though, so they may have a little firepower advantage over Luna, who decides to back out, and ultimately this is going to be another Apex win here. And yeah, I don't think they would be in any danger of dropping out of the top 7 if they lose this. Now, if the loss was really bad and it was like 14-0, I think maybe then Apex would have a threat of falling out, but I don't think we're going to see that outcome happen today, especially because Apex is 2 rounds up right now.
Yeah, they are indeed. And if you're to believe Ivis, who says don't trust them, Apex is an attacking team. A shout out to all the folks that are tuning in and hanging out, enjoying the game this afternoon on YouTube. We appreciate you. Nate, Old Gravy, Victor, Von, Delta, Just Lexa, Anthony Gonzalez, Zap. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out, and enjoying the action this afternoon. It's, Bob, it's like I'm watching a completely... it feels like the start of the season again, you know, where it was like, wow, we got new maps, we got like some fresh adjustments. Right. It really feels like we're there all over again, and it's the end of the season. We're getting ready to go into the postseason at the start of the month in January. You know, there's a tremendous amount of practice that needs to be done on this new build by these players, and it's exciting to see what are some of the best teams in the VRML. I mean, again, we look at the matchup history. These are squads that are at the top. Aspect, a new team, but not new with their roster. 3-1 so far on their season, and Apex 9-3-1. respectively. So obviously, two squads that have been playing solid so far in Season 3, and we're getting to see them battle against the new layout of ship and arguably the much newer adjustments to the entirety of the meta, the pricing of guns and everything.
Yeah, I gotta say big shout out to the players because there's been a lot they've had to adapt to this season, from the rework to ship, the rework to Arctic, now some brand new meta changes that have really shaken up the way everything's been played. Beautiful kill onto Resi from Luna, by the way, and Ivan and Blaze may get into a gunfight here. Ivan got very aggressive there. I'm surprised they weren't punished, and there it is. Lightronics delivering that, and it's now just down to Lynx GTV, and Weirdo gets team killed by Lightronics there, but Apex securing match point here on map number 1. And yeah, I think you made a good point. You know, I've heard from the grapevine that ship is still defense sided, but maybe I was wrong because
no, I mean,
this is definitely put in a great offense here.
It is an entirely new animal. I mean, you have so much to consider, right? Like, these players realistically have only been playing pubs together, right? Maybe they've done a few scrims, they've been able to adjust based off of those, but you're still learning even what your opponents are capable of buying in certain rounds, right? Like, when is the eco going to come in? What are they going to be running up against? Is the Omen as big as a threat as maybe we felt it was just last week? You know what I mean? Like, the perspective really adjusts substantially, and it's again, the Cadillo coming in as an option for Ivan here. Obviously, they had to do a little bit of eco management to be able to afford all these guns because there's no utility coming out. But still, it's just so exciting to see. And this is just map 1. You know, who knows what we're going to get for a second map this afternoon in this best of 3 series.
Here comes a drone moving into bunks right now. Apex looking to get some early intel as Ivan once again waiting out by box. This is where I believe it was Luna, or no, it was Weirdo, once sat and found a couple of picks for Apex. We'll see if Ivan can support the rest of their team. Resi K picks up quite a bit of damage, and Blaze catching that. Very, very nice pick over the curtain there. Faded controlling the bathroom hallway. Lightronics finding Ivan, and that's a second kill picked up by Apex. It's now a 5 versus 3. I'm wondering, are we seeing a little bit of fall off for momentum here from Aspect? And just as I say that, Faded finds Blaze, so I think I think I'm counting my chickens before they hatch.
There's some fight inside the smoke. Lynx tries to fight off the trio, but can't. It's now it's a 1v trio as Faded finds one, gets flashed. A nice toss, but puts the heal off, so it's still full health Faded versus low health Weirdo and Camellia. They could vault up over here, have an angle onto Weirdo. Those shots whizzing over Weirdo's head as they are just crouched at the right time. An EMP plant goes down. Now for the retake is Faded. Has to go on to the 1v3, a do or die moment. Otherwise, Apex take map 1.
And Faded they're in such a difficult spot here, you know, because Camellia is gonna catch a refrag off a Weirdo, and Weirdo just not even letting Faded have a chance. And there it is, map 1 ship goes to Apex 7-3. And if Apex plays like that, well, we might actually be out of here in 2 very, very quick maps, Nightfire.
Yeah, that was a solid locked-in W7-3. An Aspect coming in strong on the initial opener, Bob. We thought that maybe we were going to see a little bit of some miracle plays, if you will, from the Aspect squad. But yeah, as soon as the buys started to really kind of come into to play in the later rounds, once Apex had some money, we saw things go their way. So map 1 locked in on ship to Apex. Where do we go from here is the question, and do Aspect have a chance after that sort of performance coming in from Apex? Those are the questions we got to ask, and we can take a quick look at the KDs to get a perspective on how these teams performed. And I mean, Bob, it's close at the end of the day, which is kind of surprising just how close these KDs are in compared to the score. I mean, look at this. We got this top leader on Aspect has 10 kills. The top leader on Apex has 11. The next best shooter has 8. The next best shooter on Aspect has 7. I mean, it is very comparable on the KDs across the board for these two teams. So what a great bit of back and forth at the end of the day, but ultimately Apex executing their perfect offensive half to go 4-0 there and take that map. And it looks like we are going to go into a technical reset, so do bear with us as we do restart some stuff on our end. But yeah, it gives us a moment to shout out everyone that is tuning in. We do appreciate you. And of course, our sponsors, Triangle Factory, the ones responsible for the chaos that is today, Bob. The ones that have put out a fantastic update with a new map, if you're not familiar, Maul in the game now, on top of a bunch of changes to the core meta of Breachers and how the game plays out on a round-to-round basis. It's a tremendous update, and so far it's been exciting to watch, which is no surprise to me. Triangle Factory really do know what they're doing as a dev team, and they continue to show it to me and to the player base when they put out great updates like this. So, you know, again, shout out to Triangle Factory and the hard work they do put in. They obviously also sponsor the VRML, and so we really do appreciate that support. You know, the support in particular into that cash prize pool. You know, that's a big amount of money that these players are ending up playing for in that first place side. And then obviously also HyperX as one of our sponsors, contributing into the hardware prize pool for the North American side. So these teams playing for hardware and cash in this season, and it's only going to ramp up, Bob, when we get into the postseason, which is going to start at the first weekend of January. So, like, we have so much left ahead of us to look forward to, and it's all thanks to our sponsors. So, again, a shout out to Triangle Factory and HyperX for supporting the VRML. Obviously, ProTube as well with their fantastic stocks. They've been doing a bunch of sales. Do be sure to check out ProTube VR if you have the chance, if you want to help stabilize your aim in any of your favorite VR shooters. They also have fantastic force feedback models that enhance the immersion of any of your favorite VR shooters. And we've stalled long enough, Bob. We've got our lobby reset, and we are ready to go for map number 2 in this best of 3 as we dive in to Factory. What are your thoughts here? Yeah, right. I know. Yeah.
Feel very welcome to head back to Factory, a map that has not seen any changes and has been in the game since the alpha, even before Hideout and Skyscraper. So obviously both of these teams know exactly what they're doing, where the best spots are, how to approach these sites, and it's all up to how well they can execute those strategies and win their gunfights. And really quick, before we get started on this map, obviously a big thank you to Triangle Factory for sponsoring and contributing to the prize pool, but also they are providing the Breaches VRML with a unique gun skin for season 3. The big thing that here is going to be playing for. I've seen it. It is phenomenal, and we're getting ready to tease that in just a little while, but stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned is all I'll say.
When we get ready to get into the postseason, there's a lot to look forward to. Postseason interviews, postseason content, you know, a bunch of custom stuff that's been worked on by the team. I'm excited, to say the least. Just like these teams are excited to get into the action. 1-1 parade out the gate as the stairwell wins, and now the defense holds.
I've been picked up a lot of damage, and whoa, my goodness, was almost killed by a weirdo through the wall. Lightronics is still upstairs. Have they been droned? Is that what happened? Oh, they did. They were spotted, and now they're in a bit of a precarious position because they've got players in assembly. They've got players downstairs in orange storage. So they're really kind of cut off unless they decide to push through lobby and get back into site A, but they are isolated right now. Blaze is looking to push into orange storage, and ooh, that could have ended very, very badly for them. And it still might, as Faded catches, no, Resi K catches it, and Faded, Resi looking to push in. Resi goes down, but Faded looking to get that EMP planted. Here comes Lightronics pitching, they catch Ivan, go down to Lynx, and it's now a 1 versus 2. Can Weirdo clutch up here? No, it doesn't happen, and Aspect picking up their first offensive round here. Beautiful coordination, great pinch onto this Apex defense.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. The swing on the back end in particular ends up working out lovely. The nade toss to break down the wall, and then both players aiming to pick up that kill quickly, then both players ready for the counter swing to find the refrag. So a really good job on that push in from the likes of Aspect. And that's the kind of play that you're going to need to win against Apex, right? I mean, this is a team that is close to the top of the VRML ladder in Season 3. That is no easy task. They've been playing the entire season, unlike Aspect have. And so, you know, for them to take rounds, they have to put on a very coordinated effort. And, you know, that is what they need to do, and that's how they're going to get rounds. So, well done to them. They'll go buying in with Omens in encounter to that. Apex doing a full eco, an actual eco, Bob, not an Omen eco.
Yeah, we're looking at a super eco from Luna, Weirdo, and Lightronics, opting to purchase nothing except for maybe some attachments for their Jesper. But Apex, the goal here is probably going to be to get maybe 1 to, best case scenario would be 3 picks if they're expecting to lose this round. But if they can manage to get a kill onto an Aspect player here and recover one of those SMGs, well, we could see a solid bounce back from Apex. I have a feeling they're looking to make their offensive half a little bit more successful, and you can see that Lynx GTV goes down to Luna, who recovers the Omen there. And immediately we're getting into the worst case scenario for Aspect because they've given up an SMG, and this could really haunt their team down the line. Luna and Weirdo are playing together, and I have a feeling it's not going to be the end of the picks that we're going to see Apex get on Aspect.
Rotating around to the other side of A as everyone does a bit of swinging and rotating. Apex getting their roamers to reinforce back to site as they recognize that there certainly is no B setup. And very much reading the A site push. Luna swings out confidently. Only able to catch one, but a 1-for-1 trade is positive, net positive, like you said. Apex still in a better position even. They're up in the 4v3, and health bar is getting chipped away on the Aspect side.
I absolutely love the way that Luna plays. They'll pull some crazy move like that where they'll just push out of nowhere and get some picks, and here comes Weirdo catching 2 of their own, and now it's just down to Ninja Tim, and Blaze will find that, and there you have it. I mean, with surgical precision there, Apex won a super eco against Aspect. Nightfire, they bought 3 Jespers. How does that work against a stack of 4 Omens? But again, it's all coming down to that first pick. Lynx GTV went down early and gave up an Omen that was really the backbone of a major loss there from Aspect. They're going to lose some money, and while they will be able to buy some rifles in this round, we might see some players opting to not buy a rifle, and somebody's going to have to play support here to get them some utility to assist with the push. It wouldn't be smart to push with 5 rifles, and it doesn't look like they are going to do that, but still, definitely not the way you want to start off this game, with a round on the pistol round and then immediately losing against a team that was heavily ecoing.
Yeah, and I don't think teams or players have a whole lot of familiarity in the battles we're seeing. They don't know what it's like to push Omen v Omen and have to fight an Omen versus Omen fight, because how often has that happened in the regular season, Bob? Almost never. You know, and so you're getting a different type of combat, a different level of time to kill than these players are used to across the board, you know, just because they're using different guns. And so we're seeing different sorts of styles working and maybe not working. And I think that Apex just found a good style to counteract what was a bit of a lingering rotation from Aspect there.
And here comes the push into orange vending from Aspect. 4 Maruis in hand. They did pick up some utility, but not a whole lot. Only 1 stim. Nobody chose to buy a Vezin, which we'll see how that works for this Aspect offense. But a minute 40 as looks like we are seeing Lynx GTV and Ivan splitting up, and Lightronics might be in the right place in the right time here. They catch Lynx, and Ivan is going to catch the refrag, but still trading an Omen for Marui. Maybe not what Aspect hoped for immediately at the start of this round.
I wonder if the roam might be a little bit more of an effective. Nice nade toss there, forcing Faded into the tight corner, but they'll survive with little to no damage. done. Marui also more effective on the wall bangs, Bob, so we're going to see a lot of that happening with that Marui, as it has a lot more power to punch through that wall and does a little bit more damage once those shots connect. A nice smoke here, going to deny Blaze Vision. Good nade to force him off the angle, and a good push coming in from Aspect. Well coordinated to net them the EMP angle in the corner, and now the plan.
Look at the pinch from Weirdo, but it doesn't work as Ivan catches that. Luna finding Rezi, and now in a 1 versus 2 against Ninja Tim and Ivan. Wait, no, they don't. They didn't buy any foam. Uh-oh. Okay, so Ninja Tim's going to get set up and wait for Luna. Is going to push in and catch the refrag if Ivan doesn't get it. Ivan hiding behind the boxes here, and Luna, I think, is destined to go down to Ninja Tim. They're going to catch Ivan, and do they spin around? Not in time, and Ninja Tim will find the kill, making it a 2-1 game. Aspect still taking the lead here, but that was very, very close. They did manage to get a Marui and 2 stims, but they lost quite a few rifles that round.
We're seeing some interesting maneuvers here, Bob. I mean, 2 things happened there that I haven't seen before. First off, the corner plant into the kitchen. We haven't seen that happen in a long time. The standard meta plant location inside of kitchen has historically been that sort of corner wall, you know, instead of going all the way into the objective space. So pretty surprising that we do see EMP get planted into that deep corner on the kitchen. And then second, no breach on the hatch. I mean, overall, a very non-meta play that maybe ends up throwing off the Apex defense, netting Aspect to point, and in a time when we're on a map of comfortability, it's still, Bob, a little bit of the unknown with this, with all these adjustments to the game.
I happen to spot Luna right at the door with the Knut. This is either going to go 2 ways. Luna's going to catch a pick, or they're going to get immediately killed at the start of this round. There's usually not an in-between when you're taking an aggressive corner like Luna is, and they swing out. Oh, catch one! Oh my God! Luna! No, that should be illegal! But Luna finds 2 kills, and Rezi K is just left to watch the 2 corpses, along with Ivan, of their teammates. As a rifle already down 2 players at the start of the round. Luna with an unbelievable initial pick here, and it's exactly like I called it. If Luna did not survive and get those 2 kills, they would have definitely died. You're either living or you're dying when taking that corner.
And correct me if I'm wrong there, Vezin would have likely won the fight in the closer range, right? The Marui, not necessarily an expert on that tight quarters, where Vezin exceeds a little bit more. So, you know, again, the choice, Marui, Vezin, what do I go with here? It impacts the overall play, and that shotgun's able to get 2, and it really wouldn't have gotten 2 in any other week of the regular season.
There's the switch up from Apex. Lytronics finds Ninja Tim, and a minute 15 on the clock as Rezi K may be thinking about dropping down the hatch, but ultimately both Rezi and Ivan are going to rotate to assembly, and I think maybe we're going to see a push here onto A, unless they're going to go for the full-on salvage and just try and recover some of the tremendous loss they have incurred this round. Again, Apex still not really buying too much into the rifles. Blaze has picked up a rifle. Weirdo has one, but Luna got those kills with a Knut, and Lytronics got that kill with an Omen. They're definitely playing the smarter economy game here on Apex, and Aspect are just forced to keep buying and buying and buying, and they're losing these rifles. They're able to recover some value here, but still, this may set them up on a rough trajectory. And if Apex, again, has that strong offense like they did on Ship, it could be a very troubling situation brewing for Aspect here.
I mean, 1 shotgun gets the round win, really, at the end of the day. And we'll take another look at this replay, I'm sure, a few times, as Luna times their peek out perfectly. And again, you see Luna getting hit in the shoulder by that Marui, but it's the Marui in close quarters that doesn't succeed, and ultimately they're able to tuck in, find their second shotgun blast. And everyone alive, Bob. I mean, this can't be a better round for Apex than it is right there. They go in around 5s and 6 of their half, with a chance of maybe taking even a 4-2 defensive win on Factory.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to who finds the momentum. And I don't know. I think I'm just seeing stronger coordination coming out from Apex. Now we have seen two very good round wins from Aspect. I think they've got the potential here, but they just recently assembled this roster not too long ago. I don't want to say like, a week ago, because they have been around longer than
Right.
that. But we're definitely seeing, Apex has been established very well throughout season 3. And I definitely think we're seeing the experience from this team is kind of hurting Aspect here, because Apex is very comfortable with all of their players here. They know exactly what they're doing. And Aspect might be confident in their strategies and they may have good team chemistry. But at the end of the day, I think teams with a lot of that experience are still able to pull ahead in terms of the strategy, teamwork, and communication from a team that's not had their roster for quite as long.
Especially when you throw in a lot of needing to adjust your play style and needing to change how you play. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. That's going to be a key factor, and honestly, it has me even now more excited for the postseason, because we get to see these teams that have developed that experience together go up against each other, and ultimately, we're going to see some of, maybe if not the best breachers that we've got to tune into. Sir of the Land was pretty hard to compete against, but still, it's going to be a lot of fun in the postseason as we wait for Luna to spring their trap with this shotgun on the backside of what is this setup Aspect offense.
Not again with the shotgun. Oh, no. And nobody's watching the flank. This could be very bad. Oh, but Ivan picks up some damage. Ivan goes down. Luna's going to look to bother this Aspect offense. And they catch one pick, but they do go down to Link. So not worst case scenario, and Aspect have the numbers advantage here. EMP has not been planted yet, but Fade is looking to get that down soon. Weirdo's over in Connector. Blaze towards the back of the room, and Camellia has been spotted and trapped over in Cubby. Faded looking to get that EMP planted. Blaze looks for the push, and then Trinity, but Faded finds the refrag, and can Weirdo win a 1 versus 3 as that EMP is getting planted? And this is going to be tough, no matter which way you slice it for Weirdo.
I think they disconnected, unfortunately. Either that or they had to put the headset down, because
I think it is, yeah.
For a little bit. And, well, yeah, getting pinged now. The unfortunate reality that they may have an AFK final. And, is the EMP? Yeah, EMP is down. I don't, oddly enough, not hearing it. And I gotta wonder if...
Femke, you don't have a gun. Okay, there it is. Nijitim finds the kill and takes out the bots. And unfortunate for Apex there, because that's going to hurt their momentum a little bit. We'll see if they can bounce back. They've picked up 2 defensive rounds. May look for a third here. They can go for that 3-3 tie. That's their best case scenario.
Yeah.
Best case for Aspect is the 4-2 lead, which I think they're going to need, because, again, we saw a very powerful Apex offense. Again, I sound like a broken record.
No,
I keep mentioning this, but...
I think it's worth addressing more so on the idea that I think we may even be seeing a style emerge within the VRML for breachers where teams prioritize a side on each map.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I think, in particular for Apex, they are more proficient on the attack, clearly on ship, and we're going to see if it's also the same on factory, because that very well could be the case this afternoon when we do get to that side swap. I do got to agree with you there. And that's not the case for every team. Not every team has a solid offensive half. Sometimes they rely on their defensive opener to go 6-0 and then go into that final pistol round. You know what I mean? Like, there is a lot of ways to go about winning a breachers series. And Apex maybe kind of banking on their offensive half, and we'll have to see how this goes, as they now do have everyone in lobby. Oh, as I say that, I've cursed them because they disconnect again, unfortunately. So bot Daniel will take the defensive position there, as there is still 5, but 1 is AI.
And hopefully Weirdo can reconnect here. Bot Daniel is team killed by Camellia. They're looking to pick up the Vezin in case Weirdo can't reconnect in time. I probably would have waited a little bit and seen if Weirdo could have reconnected, because the bot was in a safe position. But in any case, there goes the hatch. It's been opened up into kitchen. Blaze picks up some damage. Rezi tossing in an incendiary. And here comes the drop from Lynx. Lightronics going down to Faded, and Luna looks for the swing. Oh my goodness! A double kill as Blaze catches a third, and it's now a 2 versus 2. And just like in the blink of an eye, the momentum can be completely changed in this matchup. These two teams are very, very good at reading each other and getting the drop on each other. Blaze tossing a frag into kitchen. Ninja Tim goes down to Camellia, and it's now a 1 versus 1. Is Faded gonna find the kill? No! Faded doesn't find the kill, and Apex tie it up heading into the second half. Uh-oh. We're about to see who has the better offense here.
The Vezin wins in the close quarters. That was Vezin Marui. And
exactly.
It goes to the Vezin. Learn your lessons now. Adjust to the reality that is set before you, and it's going to be tough. There's decisions to be made now when you buy a gun in this game, and it's been, like you said, Bob, in some cases, not just a year, years for some of these players to really have this kind of an adjustment in their play style of breachers. So it's fun to see. It's awesome to see the diversity. Take another look at that final replay, because it was a great connection through the smoke, a really good read, and then obviously the comms are here. That Camille is in this corner, but Vezin Marui, Vezin's going to win most of the time in that close quarter combat, and it does right there to lock in the 3-3 half. We swap sides, and Apex go on to the attack, and if we're, like we're saying, what is right, Apex may be able to kind of run away with the series here on the second map.
It's, I don't know. They haven't gotten Weirdo to reconnect.
Yeah,
and they've team killed Bot Daniel again, and I don't know, maybe do you bring somebody to sub in at this point? Because Weirdo hasn't reconnected for 2 rounds now. You just don't want to be doing this with 4 players on your team. I know Apex are good, and they've still managed to pull out some wins here, but numbers can hurt, especially because Lightronics goes down. Not only a first pick, but now second pick have been given up to Aspect. And with such a numbers disadvantage at this point, it's going to be hard for them to get momentum back in their control. We need to see that 5th reconnect soon before it ends in disaster for Apex. Oh, here comes the pinch from Resi. Oh, and they find Luna and look for more. But yeah, this was not an ideal start at all.
It is for Aspect. They definitely needed a good defensive opener.
Right, yeah.
And they have gotten it. You know, if there's ever an opportunity for Aspect to get back in, it's on the power play, which they have right now. 5v4, not something that will ideally last too long for Apex, but if it does, they got to play into it. You know, it's a chance for Aspect to keep this series alive. A 6-6 half is enough to take us to a map 3 and give them an opportunity for a series tie.
Yeah, and again, as long as we see that 4 versus 5, that's looking like it's going to be the likely outcome for Apex here, because they just haven't been able to get Weirdo to reconnect. It's been quite some time since they've initially disconnected, and Apex have completely swapped sides at this point, and they still have not gotten that final player to reconnect. So yeah, either go for the sub, or I don't know. It's just going to be tough for them. And again, we could see that 3rd map if they can't get a player to reconnect in time. Ninja Tim is getting aggressive here. Was this maybe the wrong option? I think so. I don't think you need to be feeding Apex any free picks, but I suppose that wasn't the worst case for Aspect. They still have 4 players alive, and Weirdo has reconnected for Apex. Let's hope they can stay in the game and keep this fight fair.
Yeah, it's not, they've been in before. We'll see if they can stay in, because, yeah, Apex definitely need their full roster. Aspect, like we've been saying, have been fighting hard this entire series. Look at the KDs, it's pretty close even today, obviously 3-3. But last round, also very close on KDs, despite a 7-3 outcome. So at this stage, you know, Aspect, if they can get their footing in the, now they have early rounds of their half, there's a real opportunity for them to pile on even more here. Apex are going for a full eco round into this next one, and in comparison, we're seeing a little bit of an eco from Aspect as well to sort of combat what is going to be then a full buy round 9 and 10.
Just watching the connection of Weirdo. There seem some 1 and 2 bars, and we may see another disconnect there on Apex. Hopefully we don't, but in any case, yeah, we're seeing a major advantage in the hands of Aspect right now. And whether or not they can continue holding this advantage here, again, with a massive weapon advantage, they've had a lot of eco here, and now they have a whole round ahead of Apex. So Apex has some work to do. If they don't get this round win, well, I'd argue they're going to have a very difficult time securing this map. Blaze almost found Ibin there. Not sure what happened, but ultimately, neither player is going to walk out of that injured. Now, we do see Rezi is aggressively pushing up the stairs and catches 2 with the RCP, and that's not good if you're Apex.
This is looking really nice for Aspect. They're looking like they could very well take this second map at this pace. Their opening defensive side going well, and maybe it's because Apex are just a little disruptive on the overall flow of their team, but Zero does catch Ibin, which is a Kadia, which is kind of big for what was an otherwise eco. Omen in the hands of Lightronics, and we'll see what can happen for Apex.
3 versus 4. Minute 20 to go. Foam on the hatch. We're going to see a full send here. Weirdo's certainly looking like they may go for it. Faded, sitting on bomb. Ninja Tim over in the corner of Site A. And we're going to see a push. Well, we're going to have to see one eventually. Only a minute on the clock. You don't want to wait too long if you're Apex. The hatch has been open, but I think what we might see, Nightfire, is a full switch up to Site B if they're ambitious. And it looks like they may try that 50 seconds on the clock. I wonder, maybe Aspect are anticipating this, but only 45 seconds. Apex has got to hurry up with this unless they get completely caught out. And there goes the foam. There goes the hatch. Here comes the full send down. Linktree TV preparing over by the door. As we're just seeing the waiting game now. Drilling the door blocker and Linktree 2. That's going in the YouTube video. And now it's a 1 versus 4 as Lightronics manages to catch Lynx. Rezi K is pretty low, but 15 seconds on the clock. Not a whole lot you can do here if you're Apex.
Interesting maneuvers there at the end of the day. I think they were anticipating they'd have another foam charge to be able to break through the wall, and they didn't. So they were stood there with a door blocker in front of them that then gets perfectly utilized. And yeah, just not Apex's couple of rounds here. They've had a rough opening half. 5-3 into the hands of Aspect as they take their first 2 rounds on the side swap. And now do we get buys? I don't even know. Apex still not investing. And it does look like another partial buy for them before they'll be able to go big in round 10. And that's not good. You know, Aspect win this point, and they guarantee a 3rd map.
Yeah. Do you buy here? Do you invest? I think that's what they're deciding to do at this point over on Apex. They purchased a Vezin, and we have seen them when they're at a weapon disadvantage come back before. The question is, can they do it again? That's going to be the big factor that's going to determine whether or not we're going to see a 3rd map. Because again, if Aspect win this round, it's going to give them match points, and that's going to guarantee we're going to see a 3rd map. And we're not going to see either Dam or Hideout because both of those have been banned. So that would mean Skyscraper. Yeah, I believe that would be Skyscraper is the only other map we could be playing right now. I keep thinking, oh, we could go to Mall. We can't go to Mall yet. Not in the map. Oh, we can go to Arctic. That's the one I'm thinking of. Thank you.
Yep, could be on the table. We'll see if we're there yet, right? It's not happening quite yet. A good double flash gets Ivan faded, but nobody drops in off of it. And Weirdo is going to dip down now after the flash dissipates. I'm not sure what the point of throwing a flash is, as Ivan picks up 2 with the shotgun. Camellia able to get 1 refrag. Hoping for a second here. They swing with the Vezin, able to get a second for their trouble. So it's a 2 for 3, and Apex trying to fight their way and script their way up to another point.
Ninja Tim and Rezi might get caught out here. No, please! They toss the frag, and that's going to catch Rezi. S-tier frag. 1 toss in response, but that might actually assist Blaze if Ivan doesn't walk it. Oh my goodness! It's now just down to Ninja Tim. What happened here? And Electronics is pinching. They're going to look to get that EMP down and planted as Blaze is escaping. They're probably shouting at Electronics, "What are you doing? Yeah. Get that EMP planted by now." Here comes Ninja Tim pushing into Cubby. We're not seeing Blaze by Electronics. Uh-oh. And Electronics is going to get swung here. They go down to Ninja Tim, who's looking to tap that EMP. Blaze is outside. They're looking for Ninja Tim through the wall. I'm shocked that Ninja Tim hasn't been hurt yet. How has Ninja Tim not been hurt? Oh my goodness, what a clutch. And Apex, it's now looking very realistic that they could come back and maybe pull a win out here.
What is this game today? What a crazy back and forth. A wild round there. No wall broken down, just what seemed to be a massive mismanagement of communication. I don't know. I just didn't see any bit of coordination between the two there. You know, it was completely Electronics on his own over in the corner with the EMP. And, hey, it works, you know, but I think it could have been a little bit smoother at the end of the day. Ultimately, Apex is still fighting for the series win, though, and Aspect have not gotten their guaranteed 3rd map yet. They are now, if anything, Bob, kind of in a tough spot. Like you said, this is maybe the foot in the door for Apex because economically Aspect have nothing to invest into this round.
And yeah, Aspect looking pretty rough to say the least. But you know what? They still have the numbers advantage. Excuse me, the round number advantage is where I was going with that. And I don't know. We saw Apex bring in a super eco to a win. So I think if Aspect can get their picks right here, they may be able to secure this round. Oh, but that's not good. Rezi goes down. Electronics finding that first kill. And now we will see.
They were wall banging through the wall down to the top of the first flight of stairs. Very interesting. Couple of shots, maybe something only the Marui has done. I don't think I ever seen Desmond do that, but I don't think it has an extra 10 power necessarily. Regardless, it's a kill up for Apex, and they are suppressing their way in heavily to this next site.
I've been picked up a lot of damage through the wall there, and they could very well go down to Camellia. Foam has been added to the wall, and there it is. 1.5 minutes on the clock. Here comes the flash. Perfectly tossed. Ivan goes down to Luna, but Lynx GTV with the refrag. They get refragged by Luna, who drops a second kill of their own. Ninja Tim, now the last player standing, moving up through lower orange stairs, and Camellia finding that kill. Apex are tied at knife fire. 2 more rounds for either team could give them a win, but what's going to be very important is this next round because it's going to determine who can push for a win. Yeah. Aspect are going to get some money here. It's not going to be enough to purchase 5 rifles, and Apex could bring this map back.
It's a exciting series, to say the least, as we take a look back at that beautiful flash in, and then the triple kill from Luna as they scoop up 1, rotate for the second, and then swing for the third. A very nice bit of coordination, obviously, as you'd expect from the likes of Apex. When it's time to execute, they execute well. And now, in comparison, Aspect going in with a full buy, but Bob, very little on utility. You know, in comparison to a fully kitted Apex squad, I gotta wonder if it's going to be enough for Aspect to slow the Apex momentum down.
I think it's such a dangerous idea to not bring any kind of utility, and we do see an incendiary and a frag grenade. There's some door blockers up as well. Well, 1 door blocker and a proximity sensor. So they bought some utility, but they don't have too many grenades to help route the Apex push in the way they wanted to. So that means that frag and that incendiary really have to count. Otherwise, this could go into the hands of Apex. But you're going to see a lot of wall bangs here from Apex. They picked up 4 Maruis. This gun keeps a lot of its damage, even when firing through a wall. So both teams are going to look to get those in Lynx GTV. That was not the play there. Pushes out right into the blind fire, the wall bang from Luna. Minute 50 on the clock, and we might see a full send here pretty soon. Frag tossed in. That's going to catch Rezi again. It doesn't quite get the kill, but Rezi's very, very low. Flash is tossed in, and Faded finds Luna with the frag. Rezi taking out one. Oh my God. Look at the complete switch up here of momentum. And Lightronics now has to catch a 1 versus 4 to prevent us going to a third map. No, we're going to a third map as Aspect pull out a shocking win against Apex here. Very, very well played.
Wow. It is close as Aspect don't hold the kill lead, but do hold the round lead. The final round of the half coming up here, and like we said, the best Apex can do is tie the map. The best Aspect can do is win. And so that does mean that we're guaranteed map number 3, because a series in a best of 3 can't be decided if there's a tie in the equation, and certainly has to be played out onto the third map if Aspect win, because then we will have that map 3 be the decider of the series on who is going to take the win, loss, or tie. And, well, if you're just tuning in for maybe your first Breachers game in the last week of the regular season, we do appreciate you. I'm sure there's a lot of new players coming into the game with all the updates that have been hitting it over the course of the last, well, really year, but ultimately last week. And if there are any new folks, welcome in. We do appreciate you stopping by. Please hit the subscribe button. There's going to be a lot more of this at the beginning of January when we start the postseason, which will be 3 weekends action-packed with the best Breachers VRML gameplay that you can tune into.
2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock as we get started here on round number 12. Can't go past this. It's either going to end in an Aspect win or an Apex tie, in which case Apex would only need to get 6 rounds in the final map to get a series win. But I like to think that is the most difficult thing you could probably do in VRML, because it seems like every team that has that task never actually gets a series win that way. And what I'm noticing immediately is that Camellia has pushed in with the Stim and EMP into the site and went down immediately into this round. And they've left a lot of very important stuff on the floor there, in a really bad spot for their team to recover it. Frag tossed, doesn't find anybody, but Apex is getting ready to push it.
Comes push in, nade to the back end of Ivan. Faded catches one. That nade never was primed. It was an unprimed nade that just rolled in behind them, and that was weird. The kills do come through at the end of the day, and Apex are going to battle back, but Ivan says, no, sir. Give me the triple in the round. They take the map, and we go to a map 3 decider, Bob.
What on earth was that? What an incredible
swing. That's the power of the Marui too, right? You can find multiple kills with one clip because of its firing power.
An incredible clutch up there from Ivan, because it looked like it was going to be an Apex tie. But now we're heading into map 3 on a clean slate. We'll either see one of these teams win, or if it ends up as a 6-6 draw, it's going to end up as a complete series tie, because again, you can still have ties in the regular season. But wow, what a tremendous game there. It was really back and forth quite a few times. I mean, Aspect found a lot of early momentum. Apex bounced back, and it looks like they might have gotten that second map, but ultimately Aspect were able to carry that momentum through, and now it's anybody's game heading into the third map.
I'm seeing some folks. I'm curious if we've missed any big VR games that have been announced, Bob, on the Game Awards. I don't think anything on my radar has come out, but I'm always trying to keep an eye out for Half-Life 3. if that's going to drop today or not. So if it does, please let me know in chat. We got to be on top of that one. But outside of that, yeah, this has been a fantastic series, and quite frankly, one that you do not want to be missing, because this is, you can learn so much, Bob. I got to imagine there's a lot of top-tier teams tuning into this series right now going, oh, that's an interesting way to buy that round. Oh, that's how you can spend some money. That's what's going to happen if we lose like that. You know, there's a lot of learning to be done by tuning into, I guess, maybe the second casted game since the update, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I've really just been enjoying the brand new meta that we've been seeing. It's been a ton of fun to watch teams, and I think this has been my favorite point to kind of think about after the big meta changes, that there have been teams that I think just have played so well in that initial Vezin meta that they're really having a difficult time adjusting to this new one. I've been theorizing that, you know, I've heard that Acer haven't been training as much as they used to, but I wonder if maybe that first loss, or excuse me, that second loss to IV was maybe due to the fact that they were playing with a completely new meta. I mean, they played the day that update came out.
Right.
Which is definitely a big shakeup. Even if you're the number one team in North America, and even in the case of Acer in the world for the longest time, you know, it can still shake you up if the game changes in such a fundamental way.
I think we're going to do a brief timeout right now, as it has been called by Aspect. Maybe pretty stoked off of that round map win. Anticipating a potential Series W here. I mean, this win matters so much more for Aspect, Bob. If they win here, there's a real shot that maybe, I don't know if it's possible to go from 10 to 7, but maybe they go from 10 to 7 off of a win against Apex. I mean, this is a big opponent for them this afternoon, seated at number 4 overall on the ladder. You know, who knows what's going to happen there. So they got to consider their options. They got to prepare for this third map, and I think that's what they're going to do. We are going to go to a brief intermission. When we come back, we'll be diving into map 3. You're not going to want to miss it. It's the series decider between Aspect and Apex, the final week of the regular season. Don't go anywhere. More VRML Breachers in a few. everybody to the Breachers VRML. It's our third season and the final week of this regular season. And we're here for a best of 3 between Aspect and Apex. Tubular Bob joins me as we do get ready to dive into our third map of the afternoon. A map that, Bob, we haven't seen for 12 weeks of regular season. It is Skyscraper. If you are just tuning in, the first map goes 7-3 to Apex. Second map, 7-6 to, or 7-5, excuse me, to Aspect. And we're now here for our series decider, map 3 on Skyscraper. What are your thoughts, Bob, as we get ready to dive into round 1?
It's been so long since I've seen this map. I've seen it get banned an awful lot, and I hadn't seen it for a while before the meta change, and now we're on a meta change, and so quite frankly, I have no idea what's going to happen here. Going off of its history, Skyscraper has been more of a defense-sided map, but then all of a sudden it turned into offense-sided, and so I really think this map, it's going to be, if you have a coordinated defense, you're going to be able to get a lot of value off of some roams here. But we're definitely going to see the Marui, because I have I tend to think that Skyscraper has a lot of medium to long range angles to hold. There are some sites that are an exception, particularly the top floors over in broadcast and mixing is probably we're going to see more Vezins, but Marui is definitely going to be the dominant rifle, at least in my opinion. Luna is pushing up to the windows, and we're seeing a complete switch up over to side A. Oh my goodness, they're in, and nobody is watching over on Aspect. But Chameleon moves in, finds 2. Blaze catches a 3rd, and it's now just down to Faded and Ninja Tim, and Faded almost gets caught on the window. But they do manage to escape. Frag toss in, and Weirdo is just pushing out with no regard for their own safety, and Faded is going to find that kill a little bit aggressive. And if you're Apex here, I probably wouldn't feed them another kill that way.
Yeah, that's definitely, one approach. They almost caught Faded by surprise with that rotation out. But yeah, a bit of an overextend, and now Ninja is slowly rotating in, trying to catch someone off guard as that little frag comes out and pushes Faded away. Luna, for now, going to hold the window and really make it tough for Faded to work their way through as the 1-for-1 goes through, and Luna vaults out aggressively again, feeding the kills to what is Faded, and now a 1v2 where both players on Apex are relatively low on HP, and there's still plenty of time for Faded to work with.
I think Luna was expecting, they might have caught Faded off guard, but you just can't be doing that. You can't be feeding them kills like this. That's 2 picks they've given up. Blaze has been spotted by Faded, and I think they're going to go for it. Everybody here is low. That's the thing. Yeah. Camellia may get the jump on Faded, because Faded only has intel on 1 player, and Camellia might get that audio. Gun is thrown. Oh my goodness, did Faded conceal the noise? You can see that, oh my goodness, the Camellia is quite literally in frame, and Faded notices, but they catch 1, and it's now just down to Blaze. But okay, time did expire. I was not paying attention to that at all. But wow, that could have been quite a bounce back from Faded, and they found the kill, and that's what you get for being way too aggressive there from some of these Apex players.
That was a 5v1 or a 5v2, I think, when they went into that round. So, yeah, fortunate at the end of the day that they even won. But, Skyscraper, Bob, it's a toss-up now at this stage. A map that was not picked all season long because the meta tended to favor defense so much. And I got to wonder if maybe that's how we got to start looking at the game for the next couple of weeks as, not determining the map, not determining a team on who's going to be up or down, but the meta determining on if a team's going to be up or down, And I got to wonder if maybe the meta now plays a little bit more into the offensive side on Skyscraper, and if we are going to see more rounds won, or if it is still going to be kind of that dominant defensive platform that it was for 11 weeks.
I think the thing with Skyscraper is that it's really just coming down to the way that a team plays. If you have a competent offense, you might be able to pull it off. If you have a really coordinated defense, you'll have that stronger defensive half. is decided by who has the better execution here. And I mean, Apex almost lost that first round because they made some very foolish decisions by feeding 2 free kills to Faded and leaving their low players still the only ones alive. But Faded picks up some damage here. We could see Aspect capitalize off of that first round team wipe, but Blaze finding Resi K doesn't indicate that that is what we're going to see. Electronics is still playing aggressive on the window, looking for Faded, and we're in Omen Wars as Ninja Tim and Ivan making their way down the hallway. Luna finds Ninja Tim, and we're seeing, I think, a lot more coordination from this Apex defense this time around.
They've locked in after the timeout and the break, and I mean, they picked into the half, right? They knew what the maps were in front of them. It was Skyscraper Arctic, and they said, we want defense first because we want to be able to hunker down. We want to be able to maybe surprise and counter an offense that's not ready for this. And so far, they have been doing a good job. Again, over-aggression can still impact this 4-2 advantage pretty substantially, as Ivan has good HP, swings up for a beautiful headshot there, and what a double! Can they find any more as they fly into A site? Lightronics tucks in, completely unaware, but swings up for the kill. Themselves Faded, able to exchange in a win there, and somehow with 1 HP, he's going to challenge Lightronics in a 1v1.
And Lightronics made a very good call there by continuing to hold down on the fire button. Didn't let go of that trigger at all. Very, very good call to make as Apex stay in the lead here on defense. But these rounds haven't exactly been, I was going to say, they haven't exactly been a sweep from Apex. They've been getting down to these 1v1s at the very end. And I think this is making Apex a little bit worried here, because as Aspect gets more money and they start to invest in rifles, I think we could see momentum shift over to this Aspect team.
30 seconds to recoup and regroup if you are Aspect, as they go for their SMG buys, Bob. I mean, it's something that we are going to see so much more of in the coming weekends of the postseason. You know, these SMGs are going to be something that shine, I think, and may even be key to a couple of big series wins when it comes to that postseason. When there's prizing on the line, like cash, hardware, and in-game cosmetics, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch them duke it out. So again, I know we've been talking about it a little bit, but it's because it's coming up. It's the last week of the season, and when we come back, which is the first weekend of January, we dive right into the postseason tournament.
I'm so excited. Postseason's some of my favorite, has some of my favorite games to cast. You're getting some of the best matchups you'll ever find in Breachers VRML. But we do still have a little bit to go before we get there. We've got the rest of December, a nice little holiday break for them. No way! Luna just did that. Again, with the shotguns, Luna can't seem to be stopped, but Ninja Tim is going to catch a refrag here, and an aggressive push from Aspect as Lynx catching 2 with the Omen, and it's now a 2 versus 3. Camellia finding 1. Ninja Tim's getting that EMP planted. Lynx found 1 and 2. Lynx dropped 4 that round. Incredible from Lynx GTV.
I mean, why change it now, Bob? It's been a hard-fought series from Aspect. You know, they lost map 1, but still nearly tied in kills, and then map 2, they win off of a final couple of 2-round wins. So you can never count them out, even when it gets down into those later rounds. And Apex got to be cautious of that. It's why Aspect had 19 people voting for them this afternoon to the 60 or 50 something that were voting in favor of Apex. So, you know, there is still this belief in the community that this roster, despite their lack of experience, is capable. And I think, you know, at any point, if Apex let their guard down, Aspect can work their way in for a round win.
Excuse me, and I think that is exactly what we saw in round number 1, where Apex fed a couple of free picks to Aspect, and Aspect capitalized off of that. Almost is the key word there, pulled out a round win. So it's definitely been a very, very close matchup between these two teams. And yeah, I think I like to see that confidence there. This Aspect team, they might not have as much experience playing with each other, but it's not like these players are new to the game. They're all very established competitive players that have been on a number of very, very good teams. And that's what we're seeing here. They're able to put up a pretty good fight against Apex. They did pick up a map of their own, and it's still on the table that they could bring map 3 in their favor as well. We'll see if that can actually happen as ResiK and Lynx GTV make their way through the vent. Fun fact, the vent was actually increased in height a little bit. You can now run in it, and ResiK pushes in, finds an immediate double kill. Weirdo catching Resi, finds a little refrag, but not before they lose 2 players to Aspect with only a minute and a half on the clock.
Wall still foamed and not breached. Everyone's inside server room though and ready to go. Weirdo, as soon as that wall does go down, it's going to be in a very tough spot. They're going to have to swing out and find kills right away. And there's multiple angles holding down on this side. And Weirdo's actually going to stay tucked in undetected, Bob. They have enough coverage to stay in here on the corner. And they swing out for 1, almost make it 2. Thankfully, the headshot doesn't finish off Lynx there, but it's a 2 for 3 now. Favor of Aspect, make it a 1 for 3. Lighthouse tries to fend inside the smoke and can't, and Aspect put a second on the board. An offensive point no less on Skyscraper seems to me to be a solid foot in the door for when it comes to the side swap, but I don't know what the meta means anymore, Bob.
We might need to do a mastering the meta, another mastering the meta video.
Wow.
You can find a couple of those on the channel where we talk with some of the players in the community and they teach us how to do some competitive strategies and use some gadgets in a competitive manner. So we'll probably look to do some more of those, especially now that we have a brand new meta. It's a great time for...
I was just looking at our metrics, and one of our most viewed videos is a video we made at this preseason on how to manage your ecosystem, how to manage your money in breachers. People are still watching that, so obviously a lot of new people coming in and catching onto our shorts. But man, do we need to do an update on that one now more than ever, huh?
Yeah.
Bob? I mean, geez, that has completely changed now.
Yeah, that's very outdated now, so we can probably look to making one of those. But yeah, in any case, a little extra content if you haven't seen all the channel has to offer, and there's not a cast going on. Just know that we do have some other extra little content that we do when we're not casting, and it's great to hear the perspective of some of the players. But in any case, here we are back on Skyscraper. Oh, there's the special Luna special, I call that. Rolling the frag out the window slowly. That catches more people than you might think. But Lytronics and Luna playing very, very close to the lower lounge window. ResiK tossing a frag in. That's going to damage both Luna and Lytronics. And crucially, Aspect now know that there are 2 players close to the windows. Lytronics is still holding that corner. Luna decides to head back to Site B, but the push is developing in upper lounge now as Ivan is getting ready to potentially foam and open up the Site B hatch. Blaze watching the window, but we might see a full send here from Aspect very quickly.
Could catch this defense off guard. Apex have been a little less aggressive here on Skyscraper. A map that, if there was ever a time, certainly warrants a good rotation. You know, Skyscraper, one that really you can roam around on. And we used to see a lot of roaming on defense. We haven't really seen a roam kill come into effect yet, but there is a roam happening. Weirdo is slowly working their way to the stairs.
Only a minute left, and Luna finding Resi and is still playing aggressive. I don't know if that was the best call to make there. You know, you don't want to double dip, get too aggressive there. Lytronics finds Ninja Tim, and just like that, Aspect. Oh wait, Lynx and Ivan dropped, and Lynx went down. Ivan went down, and Blaze found Faded. Wow, again, just like that, we're seeing, you know, complete changes in momentum. Oh, Blaze. Oh, that was not a good idea. And they dropped a rifle. Oh, it's not a halftime round yet. That's not when you want to be doing that. You know, I get that some teams are, they like to mess around with each other, but you have to make sure you're keeping track of the time in the game.
I don't think he saw the immolation on the ground. It was a small, tiny patch, and then he walked over it and ended up dying from it.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of a misplay there, but either way, yeah, not what you're exactly hoping for. End of day, look at how Apex is on the economy. It doesn't hurt them too much. It's the final round, so they're full buying anyway, and they still have money left over, so they're not even able to spend all the cash they have. So they should be all right here. In comparison, Aspect are able to get a full buy going themselves with a bunch of utility, so we're going to see a all-out brawl in the final round of the half here.
There we go. It's either going to be a 4-2 for Apex or a 3-3 tie for Aspect. If it's a 3-3 tie, it'd be following the same trend that all of the other maps have had so far. We've had ties as the teams have moved over to their other side. Now, I genuinely don't know if Apex are going to have a good offense here on Skyscraper. I feel like he may still want to get that momentum on the defensive half, but it's going to be difficult, especially now that Iben has secured the first pick on to Camellia, and that's a good start for Aspect, and we could be well on our way to seeing that tie once again.
Resi flying down out of the hatches, scoops up Weirdo. Audio transmitter getting a little bit of info away, but ultimately not enough to catch out any kills, and Aspect have a very comfortable entry here. As another goes down through the smokes, on-site defense weakened to simply 2. But Blaze catches a wallbang. Link's getting aggressive. Maybe able to pick up a multi if they're lucky, as Ninja catches big shots on the shoulder and a nade on the Luna.
I don't think Luna had any idea where that grenade was, and Weirdo catches Ninja Tim, but ultimately Resi found that final kill. It's a 3-3 tie heading to the second half. Very well executed by Aspect, and once again, I find that it's anybody's game. Still, we have not seen a team pull ahead here. I don't know. It's really going to come down to how successful Apex is on offense, because if they aren't, well, we might see an upset here. Aspect might get this win.
It's a dice roll at this point. It's up in the air, and I don't know how it's going to end. But that's why we tune in. That's what we're looking for in the final week of the season, Bob. What a matchup for us to have here and be able to spectate for what is, again, the brand new update to the game. That is the game. This is the version of the game they're playing on. This update came out a week ago, and it's completely changed the meta that we know. We're not getting the new map on display here, which is Mall, which looks great, Bob. I don't know if you've had a chance to play it, but man, I really want to get in on casting some Mall games for next season. Already I'm thinking about it.
It's a very nice map. I like it a lot, and I think it's going to be good for the competitive side of things. It seems like a lot of fun to play on, good angles for both offense and defense, and new map. I'm always excited to see how players approach it creatively for a competitive season. But in any case, first pick given up by Apex as Ninja Tim catches a second on a Camellia. And not an ideal start for Apex, to say the least, as really the only person who's slightly injured on Aspect is Iben.
Strong opening hole for the Aspect squad as Apex look to make an imprint on their opening offensive round off of the side swap. Pistols, obviously, are on display here this afternoon in the first round of the half, but an important one. Apex really could have used a little bit of leverage going into the half, coming off of what we could argue, Bob, is maybe not as good as you need it to be defensive side there, taking a 3-3.
Great shot placement by Ninja Tim as Weirdo and Blaze looking to team up, but Ninja Tim finds one, and they may catch Weirdo here too. They're looking for it, and that frag may catch Ninja Tim, but no, they managed to escape. Lightronics in the meantime finds Faded. And here's the point. If you're Aspect, don't repeat what Apex did, and don't just give up free picks for no reason. Ninja Tim is going to look to bait Lightronics and Weirdo into their crosshair, but they go down. However, Weirdo is now on 1 health, and there's only 45 seconds left on the clock.
They're going to have to work their way up as a duo and get rid of the on-site defense, a couple of bits of utility, and then plant the EMP with only 30 seconds left to work with. It's not a lot, but maybe A site is where the play needs to be. As they do swing over A, they'll run into more utility. Static emitter thrown down to stop them entering in through that main door, but EMP might be able to go down. As shot connects for Weirdo. They do take damage and get picked up, and Lightronics can't do the rest of the job, as Lynx and Resi were full and able to stop the EMP from going off. So a Aspect win, interestingly enough, to take the lead, I think, for the first time this map, and now lead the series.
This is, I can't seem to figure out who is going to be the winner here. We could see a tie. I mean, that would certainly end things off dramatically. But still, I think I don't know. They've built up some momentum here. They're going to buy some SMGs. Apex can't afford to do that. They're super ecoing, except for Blaze, who's still picking up the Spectral. But we know what happened the last time they super ecoed, so I'm not even sure if they're going to lose this round. It's just, there's so many unknowns. New meta, map we haven't seen in ages. You know, I feel like teams are probably more used to reworked Arctic and reworked Ship than they are Skyscraper. Even my own team, I've dabbled in the captaining side of things. We don't even play on Skyscraper. I guess it's just not a map that I think a lot of people are very comfortable on. It's very big. There's a lot of great angles for roamers to do a lot of damage, but it's just hard to find a good success on this Skyscraper. And I think a lot of times that teams play on it, the matches end very, very close.
It certainly is a good back and forth. You can look at the KDs and see that both sides have been putting points on the board. Both sides have been connecting with kills and keeping this pretty good back and forth. Overall, the score definitely leading into Aspect's favor, but that's because they've got that one-round win in the books. Otherwise, everything's pretty tight in this back and forth this afternoon. Nade comes in, not going to be timed right where Blaze wanted it, and Aspect going to lose an early attack defender, which sets Apex up nicely.
Again, on a super eco round, yeah. Weirdo found a kill on a Resi K, and now that's an Omen in the hands of Apex. I just don't know. I'm like losing my mind here with how much this game is going back and forth. And Faded at the same time finds Luna, and you have to wonder, was that a bit of a misplay there from Weirdo to leave Luna alone in lobby? They now have given up that Omen. And crucially, also the breaching foam. And so now I think we do see the door open here for Aspect to potentially find this round against Apex. If they're going to try and face Aspect head on, they could be in a lot of trouble.
52 seconds left. Chameleon flying into sight and going to be welcomed by the remainder of the defense. Ready and waiting. 1-for-1 though, net positive. A good swing in from Faded to shut down the hallway push, and it's chipping down Blaze and Lightronics to just be the only two left for Apex.
Only half a minute left on the clock. Blaze and Lightronics very, very low. And again, they're forced to face this Aspect team head on, but Blaze finds one. Looking for a second on a Faded. They almost find Faded. Lightronics is going to look for that pick. But with 15 seconds on the clock, it's do or die now for Lightronics, and they're pushing in. This isn't good. Faded might go for the swing here and could burst down Lightronics. And they're just getting aggressive there, and Faded finds the kill. It's now 5-3. And Aspect need 2 rounds to secure a win, 1 round to secure, at the very least, a tie.
That was a little close, to say the least. And again, all of these rounds, Bob, regardless of even what seems to be the eco choice or what weapon or utility is being used, are coming so close, down to the absolute wire. And it's because of how evenly matched these teams are. Aspect is brawling in this last week of their season for a chance at another win. They want to go 4-1 on their season. And in comparison, Aspect, don't want to have any sort of what-ifs if they're going to get knocked out of the top 7. They don't want a loss here against a team who's arguably ranked quite a bit below them at rank 10. So, both games do seem to me to be important for both teams, and Apex need to step up here because they are down 2 points, and Aspect are looking at maybe getting their way into the top 7 off of a win.
Yeah, it's definitely not the performance I think a lot of people were expecting to see from Apex, a team that has faced some really tough opponents this season, and now they're just really struggling for momentum against Aspect. Resi, oh no, a double trip mine kill. Oh, that's not good at all. And Luna died to RFF. Wait a minute. Oh, that's so bad for Apex here. They lose 3 players. 1 dies to reverse friendly fire. And this is all but a round win for Aspect here. If you're faded, I would not be doing this. Just stick to the sites. There's pretty much nothing that Blaze and Lightronics can do. They'd have to face a full team head on. But now the door is open. Lightronics finds 1 kill. Could Faded see a refrag here? They toss a frag! Oh, that catches 1 S-tier frag from Faded. And it's now just down to Blaze with 1 minute and 35 seconds on the clock. And I think maybe we're just going to see Apex give up here on this round. Oh, Resi, no! Oh, how brutal. And it's a 6-3.
I was going to say, if Apex gave up that round, then they are putting themselves into a position where the best they can do in this series is tie, because now Aspect have put up the 6th point. They've locked it in. They have shut down 60 connoisseurs that voted for Apex to win this afternoon, because that is not happening. It is either tie or lose for Apex today, and they have got to be feeling it right now. They did so good map 1. They fought so hard map 2. To be in this position, map 3, I don't think they were expecting it. And maybe they're shocked by the change in the meta. Maybe it's the map pick on Skyscraper. I don't know what. But Aspect are looking clean, they're locked in, and they're a point away from taking this series.
And take a look at this. Apex have no choice but to buy 4 RLs and an Omen. They do not have a single one-shot rifle available to them. If Aspect play their cards right here, they could pull off that upset win against Apex, which they've already secured the draw, and as Nightfire pointed out, 74 people are going to have their connoisseur vote room, which I find I like seeing that. I like seeing the
underdog
upset vote. Yeah. It's the evil side of Gibular Bob. I like to see a lot of people have their connoisseur votes room, but in any case, yeah, be a major upset here. Blaze might get caught by Resi, but they catch Resi as Resi caught Lightronics, and that is a Marui in the hands of Apex right now.
It's a bonus. Something nice to add to their overall arsenal. They can try and utilize to fend off a loss here this afternoon. Coming in and being tossed. And Malaysia not necessarily going right away. North Millie's going to swing in and go down. The site push coming through, and it's chaos unfolding. It's Lynx and Ivan are all that's left, and now it's just Ivan who goes down in Apex. Through the fire, come out of the flames, and are 2 away from a tie. A tie is not the worst case. 9-3-2 at the end of the day, fine for Apex. They can handle a tie. Aspect cannot. A tie for Aspect means that they are playing in the Challenger Cup in the first weekend of the month in January.
Yeah, and it can be fun to play in the Challenger Cup, but it is also pretty tough on a team because it is a long day of breachers. You're playing 5 rounds, going up against 5 different teams, and it's tough on the battery life of your headset, and it's quite a few games to play back to back there. And if you lose even one, your chances of winning the entire thing drop significantly. So a lot of teams at the top are very glad to be able to skip that Challenger Cup. And for Aspect, I think that would be kind of a dream come true for them to be able to form very close to the end of the season and then be able to skip that Challenger Cup by beating a team like Apex. Again, I don't know the exact math. I don't know if that is something that could happen. but they're just 1 round away. They're able to buy some rifles here, but now they just need to lock in some kills here. You do not want to give up first pick under any circumstances.
Time to push in the final round potentially here for Aspect if they can just lock this win in. We'll take the series as Nade comes in and connects there. Resi finds the headshot, nicely done. Trying to swing into the outside, but not finding much. And this push stalled for the moment.
Only a minute 45 on the clock. Camellia getting ready to back and push into Site A. Apex have given up the first pick to Aspect once again. The door is open for Aspect to make it a win here on this round. Only a minute and a half. I'm not sure what Apex is waiting for. Perhaps a roamer or a lurk to get into position. The door blocker is going down. Lightronics will take that out, but only a minute 15. Apex are burning a lot of time here, and they're going to have to move. Blaze finds the kill onto Resi K, and they're going to have to approach this with absolute precision if they want to find this round win. Now only a minute on the clock, and they are taking a very, very long time to push in here. Lynx GTV pushing up towards the A wall. 55 seconds now. Is Apex going to open up this wall? Chamelea's got the phone. They're ready. It goes open. Lynx goes down, but Ninja Tim finds Blaze in a quick response. 3 versus 3. Faded pushing up to the box. May be able to take out Weirdo here. Weirdo finds one. Ivan looks to push out, and it's now just a 1 versus 2. Ninja Tim finds one. Can they seal it with this kill?
Oh.
They did. Ninja Tim pulls off the upset. Aspect beat Apex with 2 maps to 1. What a tremendous effort by this Aspect team.
I can't believe they've done it. They locked in the W against all odds this afternoon. They managed to take map 3 on Skyscraper 7-4, Bob, and Apex take a loss in the final week of their season. Their record 9-4-1. Aspects 4-1. An impressive job from both teams today, honestly, Bob. But what a series to tune into, and what a change. And what I mean, I don't know what to expect for the postseason, which is coming up at the beginning of the month. You know.
I mean, it's been. I mean, this matchup was crazy to watch. Yeah. Can you imagine when there's the stakes of,
cash,
the
hardware,
prize pool, and cash and hardware? I mean, it's gonna be a tremendous postseason. It always is, and I'm very, very excited for it. And I think what we're gonna see, above all, is that it's gonna be really unpredictable, and I'm absolutely loving that.
Get ready for it, folks. There may still be some more games left this week and weekend, so keep your eyes peeled for casts that may be coming out then. But that is it for me here on the desk. My co-caster, Gibulir Bob. Until next time, we'll see you definitely in the postseason, which is, again, the first weekend of January. We're coming back from the holidays to kick off the end of Season 3. But until then, stay classy. VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.